All right. Well, today's call is titled "Upgrading Your Team's Performance," and we're going to look at some unique, innovative things. And as we go through these, I want to start with the way some employers think and how they want to motivate the staff is to keep them in the dark and throw crap at them. Now, that's a good way to grow mushrooms, and if you think about it, that is how mushrooms are grown. Not results with your team's staff. When you look at the team result and how are we going to upgrade team performance, there's some real ways to do that. It is not keep them in the dark and throw crap at them. And one of the most common complaints I hear, if I go around and ask questions about a manager or a dealer, one of the most common complaints is that they only point out the negative. They only point out the bad things that are going on. They never compliment or they never mention what is going very well. So today we're going to look at what ways you can positively upgrade your team's performance. And this isn't a maybe, it's not a occasionally, it's exclusively, this stuff works. So if you want to upgrade your team result, don't treat them like a mushroom. Let's look at what will bring good results. See, everybody has a reason to do better. And a good management professional understands they have a reason to do better. It could be like Mike or one of our callers today where they've just had a new baby. It could be that they want to upgrade their boat. They want to upgrade their fishing boat, or they want to upgrade in a car. There is some reason they want to do better, even if it's a dream or a casual thought. Good manager understands this and shows interest in them. We could take the example of the baby and say, we want to provide that little child all we can, a comfortable life, the needed clothes and the shoes, and maybe have photographs with the family. But guarantee you that every father, every mother that has that little baby, that's a good given reason to do better. The key with that then is to help them to understand what processes are needed to help them reach the results they desire. So if we know that the individual has a particular thing that they desire in their life, regardless of what that is, help them understand how they can implement some changes in what they're doing right now to get through that and go through it, get the result they desire. I want to tell you a story, an actual result that I had individually that kind of led me to how effective this type of strategy is in doing business day in, day out as a manager. And I had a technician that always struggled to turn good times. He was in low 30s and always complaining. Oh, I got too much warranty work to do well, and this tech has all the customer pay work, and all I get's the warranty garbage, and man, my training, the only thing is I'm training, I'm a smart tech, I'm an educated tech, so all the difficult stuff comes to me, and wham. I just kept on consistently. So one day I took some time with him, and I wanted to understand more about this exact principle. What does this individual want from life? what is the light switch that turns on the performance for him. And when it came right down to it, he told me of his desire. He was under a lot of pressure, and his desire was to, and dream, was to buy 5 acres out in the country and build a house on it. Now, when he went and looked at what was required, there was a 5-acre property that he loves with a nice little creek coming through it, and it was everything he desired and more. So it was coming up for auction in 90 days. And what he wanted to do was create a second mortgage so he could get the $5,000 that was required down to go to the auction and purchase this property. Now, when I found his light switch, then it was easy. And I said, why would you need a loan in 90 days? So I pulled a calculator out, and I went through and I did some math on the calculator, and really it just came down to getting a few more tech hours a day. You see, he was already turning the 8-hour days. He wasn't just getting the time. So when I pulled the calculator out and showed him how easy it would be to achieve the $5,000 in the 90 days to just get respectable times, it is amazing what happened with that. You see, he wasn't coming in the morning anymore looking for reasons to complain. When I instructed him that Todd has all the customer pay work merely because he recommends it, he looks for it, and then the advisors have a shot at selling it. If you don't recommend it, you don't have a shot at selling it. So when we looked at some simple things he could do to improve his results, amazing things happened. You see, he wasn't struggling to hit 35 hours again in the week. He was turning 55 and 60 because he wasn't working for the dealership anymore. You see, he wasn't working for the paycheck anymore. He wasn't comparing himself to others. He was working to achieve his goal. And that's where the improvement comes. That's where the realities of upgrading your team's performance come in. You see, I took an interest in this guy. Would he have been going to 55 and 60 hours if I didn't understand his needs or desires or dreams, or I didn't take the time to get personally involved? That's what good management does. And then on top of that, we want to coach individually, but we need to have team goals, and we need to share progress as a team. It makes absolutely no sense to have a number on a piece of paper as what you need to see out of your team and keep them in the dark about it. Have your team goals and share progress. Where's the team meeting in your staff? Is it once a week? Are we focused in on good, solid ways to inform and educate the team as to what's going on? Or are you keeping them in the dark? So, yes, to get the team result, you must coach the individual players. And really focus in on people with challenging performers, that their issues are evident in the day in, day out result. That's where you're going to maximize the team improvement. Most of the stars don't need much but acknowledgement and thanks. And really, surprisingly enough, they don't get the acknowledgement they need. And I could say this about the entire staff. When you go around and you're talking to people and you see a star performance, take the time to let them know. And in your team meeting, why wouldn't you acknowledge that performance? Point out the progress to all in every setting with the team and one-on-one meetings. And when you're going through the week, these one-on-one meetings are critical. And they don't have to be extensive, in the office, scheduled, 10:15, we're having our weekly individual meeting. Make it casual. Make it a 5-minute way to give them individual attention. It could be right in their drive lane, it could be right in a service technician bay. Doesn't matter where it is. Get involved with your team one-on-one on a consistent basis. You see, upgrading your team is kind of like training dogs. And I know that I have 2 dogs, and they were having issues. We had a rescue dog, and we brought that dog in, and they were fighting. Well, we needed to go to the dog trainers and get individual performance. It was not past the first half hour on the first day of training for the dogs, I realized the great truth. The training wasn't for the dogs at all. The training was for me on how to deal with the dogs. You see, you need to be a good coach. What are you doing to develop your coaching techniques? If you want to upgrade your team, start with yourself. Are you motivating? Are you encouraging? Are we looking for ways to be involved with them individually? Are you showing interest in them? This is an interesting week, and one of the things of being a good coach, I believe, is that you have to understand some people are not going to respond to suggestions. They're not going to respond to the showing an interest in them and looking for that switch, that desires that they have in their life. And it's an interesting week to talk about this, and I want to bring it up. See, this week's the trade deadline for the NBA. And there's coaches all over, and there's general managers of the NBA teams, and they're on the phone talking about what? People on the team that aren't fitting. People on the team that are causing disruptions. I'm going to leave this call at the end of it with a challenge. Do you have a trade deadline on the bad attitudes on your team? Do you have some kind of experiment that you're playing with that says, I don't have to address this problem, and you expect the team to prosper? I'm going to leave you with a challenge today. Have a trade deadline on bad attitudes on the team. Yeah, you want them to improve. You want them to be a part of your team. You want to upgrade your team's performance. And unfortunately, if you don't have a response that is positive, willing to change, and take encouragement to have goals for them individually and the team, one of the ways to upgrade it is to put a trade deadline on that. Let them know that your team has minimum standards that they must achieve. Minimums. Or they'll have their own trade deadline. Now we can open it up for some comments or questions. Mike, if you would, open up the lines. as always, you can press the number 1, and it will raise your hand for Mike to see. But for right now, we'll open the lines, give a brief period of time, and have comments or suggestions.
Hey, John, you have a question? Go ahead.
Hey, how you doing, everybody? Hi, how you doing, Rob? Great to be on the call. Wonderful information, very, very helpful. I'm here with Mike, and when you talked about providing goals and kind of giving the score, one thing that we see is very effective is when the guys have a communications meeting first part of the month, and they keep it short and sweet, about 30 minutes long, and they roll out the goals for the month to the team, but at the same time they recognize how did we do the previous month, how did we finish the game, what was the score. It's almost like sports where they give the highlights, they recognize the peak performers, could be customer service, something in customer service is something that somebody really achieved in hours per RO or dollars, or just their overall performance with the walk around and some of those processes. And then they have another 30-minute meeting at halftime. We call it halftime, right about mid-month, and they give a halftime score, literally, how we doing, guys and gals, for the month, where are we at, where are we falling short, what do we need to do, and making literally halftime adjustments to finish the game strong, to win the game, and then the next thing you know, they're celebrating victory at the communications meeting to begin the next month. So I really appreciate what you're saying, because it really goes hand in hand with what we try to achieve with those two communication meetings, and this includes techs, advisors, and parts people.
Fantastic. I would call that best practice. Best practice, and include on that the individual one-on-ones or quick comments as you go through the month, just in a day-in, day-out operation. Fantastic. Be sure Mike knows I said hello, and hope you're having a wonderful day. Fantastic.
How you doing?
Incredible. All right, thanks for attending the call. Congratulations to everybody that had a baby today, and may your day be blessed. See y'all next week. Thanks.